with us once again in Tucson, Arizona. Kelly, what more are we learning about that latest news about the DNA found on a glove a couple of miles from Nancy's house?
Well, the snapshot we are getting from investigators is that there's a lot of evidence that they've been dealing with, and a glove and other gloves have been talked about a lot publicly, and they have taken testing of those. They have established DNA profile, and then they've compared it against that database that you referred to, which includes persons all across the country who've been arrested or charged or convicted with a crime. There are differing laws state by state about when someone who's taken into custody must provide their DNA. But it is a vast database, and certainly if there were a criminal history, that would be a good way to identify a potential depositor of that DNA. Then, is it in some way linked to the Guthrie case? That's another big question. So work is being done. There are hundreds of investigators who are on this case working on a stream of different types of approaches. We know, for example, that they have been canvassing gun stores in the area. Why? Because the suspect seen on that doorbell video had a weapon, had a holster that had some interesting identifying markers that authorities are trying to get a better read on. Where was it purchased? What could they learn about?
What if the biggest twist in this case wasn't outside the family, but inside it? Because tonight, social media is pushing a theory that has completely changed the tone of this story. According to viral posts and circulating reports, a man with extremely close ties to Nancy's family may have been connected to the unfolding drama, and the internet is asking one uncomfortable question. How close is too close? At first, the narrative seemed simple. A tragic incident, emotional statements, public sympathy. But then came a detail people can't stop talking about. A familiar face, someone who wasn't just an outsider, but someone reportedly related through marriage. Yes, you heard that right. Online discussions claim the individual being mentioned is Savannah's own brother-in-law, Tommaso Cioni, who, according to speculation, was quietly present in the background while everything was happening. Now let's be clear. These are social media claims and unverified reports. No official confirmation has named him in any wrongdoing, but that hasn't stopped timelines from exploding. Was he just there by coincidence? Was his presence misunderstood? Or is the internet connecting dots that authorities haven't addressed yet? Because when a family circle overlaps with a crime narrative, people don't just watch. They question everything. And what Savannah reportedly revealed might be the detail that shifts this entire conversation. Stay with me, because this story just moved from shocking to deeply complicated.
I call this person the offender. The offender's behavior as he's walking around the porch prior to going inside the residence, he doesn't seem nervous. He's walking at a comfortable pace. He doesn't appear agitated. He appears to be actually relaxed. So I think that's really important when you put it into this perspective. He is about ready to go into a home where he doesn't belong and kidnap the person inside the home. And yet this is how relaxed that he is. So I think that tells us something about not only his personality, but it certainly could also suggest that this person is comfortable in that neighborhood and maybe even comfortable having been in the home before, because it helps to have minimized his.
At the center of this storm are three names that social media simply refuses to separate anymore: Nancy, Savannah, and Tommaso Cioni, who many online users claim was closer than anyone realized. Nancy, long seen as the emotional heart of the family, has always maintained a relatively private image. Those who followed the family dynamic over the years know that while public appearances were polished, whispers of internal tension were never far behind. Subtle moments, awkward pauses in interviews, the kind of small details that mean nothing until suddenly they mean everything. Then there's Savannah, confident, composed, media-trained. Someone who knows exactly how narratives are shaped and how statements land. Which is why critics online are now rewatching old clips, claiming certain answers feel different in hindsight. Was that hesitation? Was that discomfort? Or are people simply looking for cracks where none exist? And then, the third name. Tommaso Cioni reportedly connected through marriage. A family insider. Someone who, according to viral threads and speculative posts, had been present more often than initially discussed. Not in front of cameras, not making statements, just there, quietly. Now, to be clear, no official investigation has publicly accused him of wrongdoing, but online discussions have taken on a life of their own. Old photos are being resurfaced. Event appearances are being timestamped. Comment sections are asking why his presence was never highlighted earlier. Some users claim there were past disagreements within the extended family, financial tensions, conflicting loyalties, private arguments that never made headlines. None of this is confirmed, but in the age of digital sleuthing, perception spreads faster than proof. And then came the moment that changed everything. During what seemed like a routine response, Savannah reportedly referenced people closer than we thought. The clip lasted seconds, but within minutes, it was clipped, reposted, slowed down, zoomed in. TikTok analysts broke down her tone. Twitter threads analyzed her phrasing. Reddit users connected it to older family dynamics. One viral post read, "Why does this feel like an inside circle issue? Watch the 014 mark carefully." Another claimed, "Notice who hasn't spoken publicly yet." Again, these are interpretations, not confirmations. But here's where the tension escalated. Screenshots began circulating of alleged private messages, unverified, unproven, suggesting friction within the family weeks before the incident. Claims of heated discussions, claims of disagreements about money, claims of someone feeling pushed aside. None of these messages have been authenticated, yet that hasn't stopped thousands from sharing them as if they were puzzle pieces falling into place. Supporters argue this is reckless speculation. They say grief is being turned into entertainment. They warn against turning silence into suspicion. Critics respond with one sentence: silence speaks. And that's the atmosphere right now, not facts, not charges, not official accusations, but tension. Suspicion fueled by timing. A family dynamic being re-examined under a microscope. The question that keeps echoing across platforms isn't, is he guilty? It's, why does this feel unfinished? Because when a story that once seemed clear suddenly gains new layers, people don't just accept it. They rewind, they replay, they reanalyze. And whether fair or not, the spotlight is now hovering over someone who never expected to be part of the public narrative. And if this truly is just speculation, then the next response might determine whether this fire fades or explodes. And just when people thought the internet had reached peak speculation, it shifted gears. Because the name that keeps resurfacing, the one social media refuses to let go of, isn't a stranger. It isn't some shadowy outsider. According to online discussions, it's someone tied to the family through marriage. Tommaso Cioni. Let that sink in. Now, before we go any further, no official report has accused him of a crime. There are no confirmed charges, no public statements tying him to wrongdoing. But here's the reality of the digital age: proximity creates suspicion. And proximity, in this case, is exactly what social media is dissecting. It started with a thread that gained traction overnight. A user posted a timeline, photos, event dates, overlapping appearances, claiming the brother-in-law had been present at multiple key moments surrounding the family in the weeks before the incident. Nothing criminal, nothing explicit, just present. The thread ended with a question. Why hasn't anyone addressed his role? That single question pulled in millions of views. Soon after, clips began resurfacing. Old interviews, family gatherings, subtle background moments. In one video, Savannah is speaking emotionally about trust and betrayal in general terms, and viewers now claim the brother-in-law's reaction in the background looks tense. Is that proof? No. But is it enough for the internet to build theories? Absolutely. Then came the second twist, and this is where things escalated fast. An anonymous account claiming to be close to the family circle posted a series of statements suggesting there had been internal disagreements months prior. Disputes over finances, over influence, over who controlled certain decisions. Again, completely unverified. But the timing? Suspicious enough to fuel debate. One alleged message circulating online reads, "Sometimes the threat isn't outside. It's the one who knows the doors." Chilling? Yes. Confirmed? Not at all. Still, that didn't stop thousands from interpreting it as indirect confirmation that someone within the extended family circle may have known more than they publicly admitted. Supporters of Savannah quickly pushed back, calling the rumors reckless and invasive. They argue grief is being weaponized for clicks. They insist the brother-in-law is being unfairly dragged into a narrative built entirely on coincidence. But critics aren't backing down. They're asking, why was he reportedly seen near key family events before and after the incident? Why has he remained completely silent while speculation grows? And why did Savannah's recent statement feel layered? Because here's the thing about her words. When Savannah said, "The truth has layers," social media heard something different. They heard implication. They heard subtext. They heard distance. Within hours, a hashtag referencing the Tommaso Cioni began trending. Reaction channels jumped in. Body language experts on TikTok started analyzing posture from months-old videos. One influencer dramatically stated, "Silence is strategy." That line alone sparked another wave of debate. Meanwhile, industry insiders are reportedly advising caution. PR professionals appearing on commentary panels suggest that extended family members often stay quiet to avoid complicating investigations. Legal analysts remind audiences that speculation can damage innocent people. But the internet operates on emotion, not patience. Then came what many are calling the most unsettling development so far. A grainy photo surfaced online, allegedly taken at a private gathering weeks before everything unfolded. In it, Tommaso Cioni appears in conversation with another relative. The image itself proves nothing. It's a normal social setting. But captions began appearing over it. Was something already unfolding? Is that fair? Is that responsible? Or is it simply the momentum of a viral narrative that refuses to slow down? What makes this twist powerful isn't evidence. It's psychology. When a person is closely connected to a family at the center of a crisis, people instinctively question every relationship, every silence, every neutral expression. And right now, Tommaso Cioni is at the center of that psychological storm. Still no official accusation, still no confirmed involvement. But the narrative has evolved from what happened to who knew what. And that shift changes everything. Because once suspicion enters a family dynamic publicly, it rarely leaves quietly. Some believe this is a case of online overreach, digital detectives creating drama out of coincidence. Others insist coincidences don't stack this neatly without reason. The divide is growing sharper. Supporters are calling for empathy. Critics are demanding transparency. Neutral observers are simply watching, waiting. And through it all, one question refuses to disappear. If there's truly nothing to hide, why does this story keep expanding instead of settling? The brother-in-law's silence, whether strategic or personal, has become part of the spectacle. Every day without a statement adds another layer of curiosity. And Savannah? She hasn't clarified further. No follow-up explanation. No denial of online theories. No direct mention of the speculation, which leaves the public suspended between two possibilities. Either this is a massive misunderstanding fueled by viral imagination, or there are layers still waiting to be uncovered. And in the age of social media, layers don't stay hidden forever. Just when it felt like the internet had squeezed every possible theory out of the story, something unexpected happened. Late last night, a new detail began circulating, not from an official press conference, not from a legal document, but from a small, overlooked clip that most people had ignored the first time around. In the clip, Savannah is answering a question about trust. Her tone is calm, measured, controlled. But near the end, she says something that has now become the most replayed sentence in this entire saga. Sometimes you don't realize who is standing next to you until everything falls apart. That's it. No names, no accusations, no clarifications. But within minutes, social media connected that statement back to the ongoing speculation surrounding her brother-in-law, the same individual who has remained silent throughout this storm. And this is where the narrative shifts again. Because earlier today, multiple online accounts claimed that Tommaso Cioni has reportedly limited his public appearances and quietly stepped back from certain family-related engagements. There is no official confirmation that this decision is connected to the controversy. It could be coincidence. It could be privacy. It could be nothing. But in the current atmosphere, nothing feels like nothing. Comment sections are now filled with two very different energies. One side says this proves absolutely nothing and that stepping back is a reasonable reaction to online harassment. The other side says this is exactly what someone would do if pressure was building behind the scenes. Then came another twist, subtle but powerful. An industry insider, speaking anonymously on a digital commentary show, suggested that internal conversations are happening that the public hasn't seen yet. No details, no confirmation, just that one statement. Internal conversations. Those two words have ignited a fresh wave of speculation. Are lawyers involved? Is there a clarification coming? Is someone preparing to finally speak? Because here's what makes this moment different from earlier speculation. The tone has changed. At first, this was pure internet theory. Threads, edits, reactions. Now, mainstream outlets are covering the speculation itself. Crisis communication experts are weighing in. Legal analysts are discussing hypothetical scenarios, not accusing anyone, but exploring what could happen if internal tensions became public disputes. And suddenly, the question isn't just about what happened in the past. It's about what might happen next. Will Savannah address the rumors directly? Will her brother-in-law break his silence? Or will the family attempt to shut down the narrative before it grows even bigger? Because history shows one thing very clearly. When silence meets viral suspicion, the story doesn't fade. It escalates. And here's the final twist that changed the entire tone today. A scheduled appearance that Savannah was expected to attend next week has reportedly been postponed. No official reason was provided. It may be completely unrelated. It may be logistical. It may be personal. But the timing? The timing has people talking. Some believe it signals preparation for a major statement. Others believe it's simply an attempt to avoid fueling speculation further. Either way, the atmosphere feels different tonight. Less chaotic, more strategic, which suggests something may be happening behind closed doors. And if that's true, then this isn't the end of the story. It's the pause before the next reveal. Because whether this entire storm turns out to be online overreach or the early stages of something deeper, one thing is certain. The public is watching closely. Every word, every appearance, every silence. And in cases like this, the next statement, or lack of one, can completely reshape the narrative. So now the question isn't, was someone involved? The question is, who speaks next? And when they do, will it calm the fire? Or pour gasoline on it? Stay tuned, because if there really are layers still unseen, the next update could change everything. So now I'm turning the question over to you. Is this just social media doing what it does best, building mountains out of moments? Or are we watching the early stages of a story that hasn't fully surfaced yet? Because let's be honest, coincidences happen. Silence happens. Misinterpretations happen. But when timelines start overlapping, statements feel layered, and key figures remain quiet, people are going to ask questions. And right now, the internet is asking a lot of them. Do you think the speculation around the brother-in-law is completely unfair? Or do you believe there's more behind the scenes that hasn't been addressed yet? I want to know where you stand. Drop your thoughts in the comments, but keep it respectful. Debate the narrative, question the timing, analyze the statements. But remember, speculation is not confirmation. If you've been following this story from the beginning, make sure you hit that like button so more people can join the conversation. And if you want updates the moment anything shifts, whether it's a statement, a clarification, or a completely new twist, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because if this story has taught us anything, it's this. The narrative can change overnight. And when it does, we'll be here breaking it down. Stay alert. Stay curious.